after the play and people write in it. You'll see that people have written in it. So feel free to write in it, and then feel free to not write in it and just pass it on. So I'll pass it around. And I'll also pass around just Etty's diaries so that you can see pictures of her and see the book. But I have a question for you, which is that if we fast forward 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months, and you're reading or watching something, and the play came into your mind for a moment, what might be a line, an image, a phrase, even a single word that might stay with you?
Probably the whole thing.
Okay, so can you go to...
Just the whole thing. The whole thing.
It's interesting. So I think one of many things, going back to the whole thing, was the part where she wrestles with bring someone... So it was the part where you talked about, or in the play that you talked about, but part of the play where Etty wrestled with bringing a child into the world, and how she rationalized not bringing the child into the world as a just thing, right? And that I'm actually being more just by not bringing it into the world versus bringing it into the world. And so that was very interesting, just kind of that conflict, that internal conflict that she had.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, that's, that's quite a, right, she self-reports that pregnancy, and then she has a very, right, yeah, please.
I was just very impressed with the, thank you. I was impressed with the scene where she saw in the distance the approach of war, the smoke in the sky, and she ran up to the professor and asked, through his wisdom, what should I do? Should I escape to England? And in my heart, in my mind, and what I know about the Holocaust, I want him to say yes,
Right.
but he doesn't.
Right.
And then he goes home and he escapes.
Right.
And he chose his method. I found that, I don't know how I find it. I think I'm angry at him for not giving her some good advice. And I find him to be more concerned with self than his student. My opinion.
Wow. I mean, people have brought up Bongo before, but never like that. You know, I was telling the students today that you all know the director of the play, who's not here tonight, but Austin Pendleton, because he's one of the fish in Finding Nemo, which, you know, they all knew. They asked which fish. I said it's the one who's afraid of germs. Everyone knew. But for those of you who are not Nemo fans, which I don't understand it, but he's also in that great film, My Cousin Vinny, which actually some students today knew that, which was good, because otherwise. And many, many films. He's like this famous character actor you've never heard of, but you see him a lot. He always wanted Bonger. I mean, he helped me. He takes, you know, credit as director, but he doesn't take credit for helping me adapt the script, and he should, because he did. And we've worked together on this for 15 years. But he always wanted Bonger to be the downbeat of the play. You know, I mean, she struggles with suicidal tendencies. And so here her professor, you know, goes ahead and does that. There's actually more to the Bonger section. It's the longest section that I have that's just its own section, but there actually is a little bit more to it, but I've cut it out. But I've never had that response, you know. I want to talk to you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, and then I'll pass it to you. There were so many parts, but the ongoing conversation with God had me, but then "What are you doing to us, God?" And then that just slipped out. It was like her anger slipped out and it almost surprised her, but that anger resonates with me a lot. I asked that same question about lots of things today, so I think that will stick with me.
There was really so much, and thank you very much. I really like her sense of duty throughout, no matter what. She's talked about taking the easy way out a couple of times, but no, she wanted to stay, and she wanted to document it, and she wanted to help people, and she seemed to bring a sense of duty to everything, and it helped her cope. But it's also something that's such a it's a beautiful thing in a spirit to have that, instead of, she did let herself go every so often and become overwhelmed by her emotions, but there's always this sense of duty that kept her going, and I really admired that.
I was very struck by what you took Etty's words and making the juxtaposition. She's alone in the car, she's surrounded by people, she's in this dismal place, and she can't help but notice the beauty. The way she kept on jumping between the sort of various extremes that I think do occur, but you captured in such a way that made me think about, if one is living an extreme situation, how those extremes are really becoming sort of part of your thinking. And I thought that the way in which you conveyed that was really quite brilliant, actually.
Yeah, we talked about it. Thanks for saying that. We talked today in class about, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Steve McQueen, the brilliant British director who made the film 12 Years a Slave,
Yeah.
which is a great film, and I hope everyone has it on their list to see if they haven't seen it. And he does that in that film. I'm not someone who, I imagine I would never live in the South because I hate the heat, and there are other reasons now, politically. But anyway, in that film, it's beautiful, it's seductive, it's lush, and I never thought of the South that way. And then there are atrocities happening inside this beautiful landscape. And I had never seen that before in a film dealing with genocide, dealing with atrocity. And I think he's changed that. I'm going to be very interested now in how we look at that, because films about the Holocaust tend to be black and white. And he really kind of did something really, anyway, so he did it in film. But yeah, she does write about that. She believes that life is simultaneously beautiful and horrible. That they, yeah.